Oh.
And we are live.
Live! We're live!
More live than we've ever been. And we have in the house our guest, Bailey Brown. Welcome to the podcast.
State your full name for us.
My government name is Christian Bailey Brown, and
Whoa.
you will never be at my house.
What?
We were talking earlier. I told him he's never allowed at my house because he doesn't need to know where I live.
Okay.
I know where he lives, though, because I process his paperwork for work.
And I pray to God that you never act on that. That is not something I need.
So what were we saying? The new theory of time travel is what?
Right. So the question was posed: if you could go back in time, would you commit a murder? Would you would you murder yourself?
Hey, TJ.
What's up, TJ?
Hey.
TJ Black is back. Sight, he never left. He just got better. That's his slogan.
Yeah.
And we were talking, and the point got brought up. Well, if you went back in time and let's say you killed yourself, would that affect your future? And I brought up how in the old Back to the Future movies, that's how it was, where you go back in time, you affect something in your past, all of a sudden Marty's disappearing. Whereas really more in cinema, new time travel theory is if you go back into the past and affect something in the past, that doesn't affect your past. That past is now your future. So it's just creating alternate timelines.
But that did happen in Back to the Future.
Hold on. That past is now your future, but it's already happened.
But you went back to the past.
Oh, so you just stay in the past.
Yeah, or when you come back, it doesn't erase the fact that you went to the past.
But that is what happened in Back to the Future, isn't it?
They went.
Well, the first one, he's disappearing whenever he's messing shit up.
Yeah.
And you're saying he wouldn't disappear.
Yeah, the new, like in Avengers Endgame, they go back to the past. Spoilers for Avengers Endgame, if you haven't seen it yet, which you should.
I haven't seen it.
It's great. So
What's up, Ronald Clump?
I'm voting for him.
they go back to the past, and they're trying to collect all the Infinity Stones, and they think, well, why don't we just go back in the past and we kill Thanos, who's the main villain? That way he'll never exist. And then it's explained, well, just because you kill him in the past doesn't affect what's already happened in your time currently.
Okay, so hold on one second. So kind of what the theory maybe is that it's more of a multiverse thing rather than
Yeah.
So the past isn't always, there's multiple pasts.
Yes. Once you go back into the past, you then create a new timeline.
So that's what happens in Dragon Ball Z. So they had a season of Dragon Ball Z where you have Trunks, who came from the future, to kill these androids that were going to fuck everything up. But they were like, well, it's a good thing you're going to fuck up these androids because then your future is going to be great. It's like, nah, man, this future has already been set. Yeah. I'm just creating a new timeline for you guys.
Yep, he came back to them with their timeline. His timeline, there's nothing he can do.
My life sucks, but you guys are going to have a good one. And then they go terrible in the other direction. And then, I don't know. I've made that part. I don't know what happens to Dragon Ball Z.
And after that, Majin Buu comes, who's basically like the devil.
Oh.
But he's not even the worst part. The worst part of him comes at the end. In the first part, he's the fat Buu.
Oh.
And then he takes all the goodness out of him, and then he becomes Kid Buu.
And he kills everybody, and they all go to hell.
Fat Buu and Kid Buu?
Yep.
And then the two villains before that, their names was Bibbidi and Bobbidi. All the names in Dragon Ball Z, they're all wordplay.
It's great explaining.
Are they really?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh my god!
It's great explaining this to him.
So all the Saiyans, like this, there's a race of people called the Saiyans, and all of their names are all vegetables. Play on vegetables. Yeah, like so the first Saiyan you meet.
Carrot Top.
Well,
that's close.
Kakarot is the that's the protagonist. His real Saiyan name is Kakarot. Goku. You heard that name?
Yeah, I know Goku.
His real name was Kakarot, like Jor-El Superman. Kakarot is Goku.
Is that supposed to be like a carrot?
Yeah, carrot.
Is it play on
words?
Play on carrot.
Like, because you had cat, and then the last part's carrot?
Well, it's supposed to sound kind of like carrot.
Or like Vegeta is just vegetable.
Yeah. And then
Vegeta?
Yeah.
It does not sound like vegetable. It sounds like vagina.
Well, it's just
My
you're
vagina.
rearranging it. You're getting rid of some stuff that you don't need.
Napa is Vegeta's sidekick. Napa cabbage.
Napa, see, yeah.
I actually didn't know what vegetable he was named after
Yeah. Oh, until right now?
until right now.
Nice. Okay, so we're learning shit. So Napa cabbage, it's like an Asian cabbage. It's the type of cabbage that kimchi's made out of.
Who says you can't learn
Kimchi,
stuff?
there's a name. Kimchi.
There's what else? Brawly. It's supposed to be like broccoli, I guess.
Mhm.
I remember whenever you showed me Dragon Ball, what I hadn't realized is how sexual that shit
Yeah. In
was.
the first
Never
episode,
watched
Goku's like slapping Bulma's pussy.
Pussy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is he slapping her pussy?
Because he's never seen a girl before in his life, and she's sleeping, and he pulls up her dress, and he sees there's a lack of a dick, and he's like, "Where's your dick?" And he goes, when he's like looking for
Does
it.
she see orgasms? Like, oh god.
Yeah, she does. It's intense.
Actually, more unrealistically, she's not phased by it at all.
Yeah, she sleeps right through it.
Welcome to the world of anime. I like the one thing he noticed was it's so over sexualized. Like, yeah, and it doesn't get much better.
Yeah, I mean, that's
I didn't say
that's
it was
a rabbit
bad.
hole.
There's one anime my friends convinced me to watch, and it was High School DxD, and it's basically just this one kid.
High school.
This one kid's goal is to just be a harem king and have his own harem.
Harem is a bunch of women that fuck you all the time. Okay.
Yep. And so I watched about one episode, and they were trying to convince me, like, listen, just pay attention to the story. It's not all about the nudity. There was nudity every 5 minutes. Like,
So
guys,
in anime terms, that's called fan service.
yes, it's
Yeah.
not nudity. It's fan
You're
service.
serving your fans by showing them some titties.
So there was fan service every 5 minutes, and afterwards, I told them, I said, guys, I don't think this is about the story.
You ever been to Anime Week in Atlanta?
No, but some of my friends have gone to anime conventions.
That's
I don't
what
know if it was
AWA
that
stands
one.
Yeah, AWA. Dude, I hope they have it this year. You should come. It's gonna be. I mean, I don't know if they're gonna have it or not, or what, but it's a fun time. I don't know much about anime, but it's just cool being around all those fucking weirdos, you know.
Oh yeah, they're all. It's always the weirdest ones that are the nicest.
If you want to come, you're welcome to stay here.
Yeah.
Are you living in Alabama right now?
Yeah, I live
Okay.
in Alabama. I had an apartment up at my college at JSU, and then the March 2017 tornado happened, and then I had no apartment. So I decided it was a great move financially to move back home.
Oh yeah, that tornado shit.
Yeah. Well, what's great was my specific apartment didn't get utterly destroyed.
Yeah.
But we still had to move out. But I have a friend who lived 2 complexes down from me. His entire 3rd floor was wiped out. It was like the 3rd floor didn't exist anymore.
Wow.
Yeah. and
There's
it
a
was-
lot of weather in Alabama.
Oh.
I was in Alabama for like 2 months, just handling like weather and stuff.
Or that's like whenever I come to work out here, I'm an idiot because like it'll be raining in Alabama and I'm thinking, well, I'm going to state over, but then I forget the weather travels
Oh yeah.
towards here. So there was one like the day it rained, I had left my car doors cracked because I thought it was going to be hot. I was wanting to let air in, and then it rained. It was raining in Alabama on my morning drive here, and I just didn't think about it that the weather comes this way, and it gets me every time.
Yeah. Yeah, it always comes this way, but that's a bad thing. Is Six Flags away is that you watch the weather coming, and it will sometimes dissipate before it gets to Six Flags. So
Oh, yeah.
we still got to do all the shows.
God loves the gunfight, but hates the gunfighters.
That's the old saying.
Is that really a saying?
Yeah.
That's what we say. God loves the gunfight, but he hates gunfighters.
We don't cancel a show unless it's thunder and lightning, like right at when we were supposed to start the show. If it clears up 5 minutes before, we just go out and do it. And most of the time, that's exactly what happens.
Brave. You guys are heroes. I didn't thank you for your service.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for your service.
We're not gunfighters anymore, though.
Oh,
not at Six
sorry.
Flags. Now we're just fighters.
We're just
They
goofy
took-
for gold.
Took the guns away.
So now you're just like slappers only.
Yeah.
We got to get. He's a little odd job, so he wins all the time. He's odd job height. Then we've got Al at Jaws height.
Like you realize in this frame, you look smaller than he does.
Oh, that's because I'm like.
I have great
slightly-
posture though.
Yeah, he does
You
have
know,
great
now
posture.
we're about the same.
I've got a little torso. So.
I mean, we're all basically the same height. I don't know why.
Yeah, I'm just taller than you.
No. Give me that leg.
Yeah.
What he does is every time he says he's taller than me, I just go for his legs because I know he's ticklish.
Yeah. Have you ever seen how a horse eats corn?
No.
You never seen that? And the gayest podcast on the internet.
Hey, Fat Sawalski.
Hey.
I wanted to talk about one more time travel. I don't know if we can go. If it's too late to go back to that.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
you know what?
Time
You know what? I
travel.
think it's very timely to go back to time
Yeah.
travel. Or it's very fitting.
If it's too late, we can just rewind things and make sure it all happens at the same
Just remember,
time.
we're not affecting the old times. We're just creating a new one.
Well,
Good time.
so my favorite time travel lore is probably Bill and Ted. Because
Oh,
they can just
yeah.
like think of shit. So let's go back in the future, or let's make sure that we plant this here, right? So that like we'll plant a sandbag up there so that it hits them. We had to remember to go back in the future, and it's just there, right?
Now, a new Bill and Ted movie came out or either is coming out.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. It said summer 2020, but I
It
don't know what
is,
that
yeah.
exact date
You know,
is.
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu,
Love him to death. Are you okay?
the internet's boyfriend.
Yeah. Keanu Reeves.
That's what they call him, the internet's boyfriend.
Really?
Yeah,
I like how
Oh.
in all of the
There's a lot of good things about him out there.
I think he's kind of a weirdo. I don't know, man. Like in interviews, he just comes across as really like stiff and like
I don't really watch
socially
it. I haven't
awkward.
watched any. I would like to see it.
I think he knows the stigma around him and like you think he's just gonna be this very friendly guy, but then it turns out he's just normal. He's just like, hey, I'm here to do this interview. Let's get the ball rolling.
Like the thing that the internet started freaking out about was it's some like convention. Like, I think it was a gaming expo
Yep.
or something. He was on the stage and some woman yelled, "You're breathtaking,"
Yep.
and he was like, "You're breathtaking."
Yep, it was E3 this year. They were
2020.
Yep, they were.
Shit.
All he's doing
That
is
seems
trying
like
to
it was
repeat
like
what she
5
said.
years ago. Yeah, he's just like,
It's just
"No,
a
you
robot
are."
voice.
It could have been last E3, but it was in recent years. It was at E3, which is where a lot of the big gaming companies they come out and they either show you, they debut the new stuff they're working on, or they give you gameplay of the stuff they're currently working on. And he's in a game called Cyberpunk 2077. It
Oh,
looks like,
that's why he was there.
yep, because he
Dude, that
is
game looks.
he's a
cool.
character. in
Hey,
that.
Pastel Cookie.
Okay.
And he was talking about that
Keanu
game.
Reeves.
Good old Keanu Reeves at E3.
E3
It's electronics.
Expo Invention.
Entertainment.
Yeah, it's like
Who gives a fuck
electronics
what it
entertainment
means?
expo. It's cooler to say E3.
E3.
E3. And or actually, yeah, no, it had to have been last year because they didn't have it this year. So he's out there talking about it, and then some guy, you can look it up on YouTube from the guy's point of view. He just goes, "You're breathtaking,"
That was the guy that said that.
and he just shouts back, "You're breathtaking."
Which means like nothing. Like what?
Yeah.
You're
He was
like,
just responding.
back
In
at you.
Vegas? Is it in Vegas? E3?
I think it's in California. I think you're thinking of another one. What's it called? What's the other one? Technology Expo.
Oh, it's PAX. It's there's like PAX East and PAX West. It's another technology expo.
No.
Basically, it's the same thing but on a smaller scale.
In Vegas? Is this
Well,
one?
E3 is more specifically about video games, isn't it?
Wait, E3's where again?
Wait, I don't know.
I don't know where it's at. E3 is more about video games and if there's any new
We need to
consoles
get somebody who
coming
can
out.
pull shit up. Hey, pull
Yeah,
that
hey,
up
Jamie.
there, Mr. Monkey. This is what I'm talking to. We need to get this
Mr.
guy.
Monkey.
I got
What is his name?
He looks like a host of. He looks like a Jay Leno monkey.
And there's an actual real monkey right over there too, but he doesn't like it moving in the frame. Get his head right here. There we go. Chilling
Yeah,
with
it'd be
the
nice
boys.
to have a Jamie like Joe Rogan. They should. What I was thinking is like Joe Rogan should come out with a fucking electronic product called Jamie. That's like Alexa and Google and Siri.
Yeah.
Say, hey Jamie, look that up, and like so it's always Jamie talking the way that Jamie talks about things.
Don't give him the ideas. You gotta You got to hop on that.
I don't think I
That's
can
your-
sell that product. I don't know. I don't think Jamie's probably not copyrighted.
Yeah, it's a name.
But I think there'd be some issues there.
I'm ready for like when you're like Siri or whatever, you can have a conversation with them and stuff. You can be like,
Yeah.
hey Siri, what do you think about this?
Like her?
Like, hey, can you? Oh yeah, like her.
Yeah. You start dating your
The movie Her with Scarlett Johansson or what? No.
Yep.
Yeah. And
Joaquin Phoenix.
That I liked it.
I liked it too.
Oh, did you hear that was supposedly what Sofia Coppola did that movie Lost in Translation? And that was supposed to be like an answer to that movie.
Wait, what was?
Her.
Lost in Translation came before her.
Yeah.
Oh,
Her
you're
was
saying-
supposed to be an answer to Lost in Translation.
An answer?
Yeah, because Sofia Coppola and Spike Jones.
Yeah.
They were married or dated or something.
Oh.
And they're both about isolation. And there's this one scene where it's the same shot basically in the same location. So supposedly it's like it's a conversation between the two. And there may be some deeper fucking conversation between the two if you go watch them again.
What's
Yeah.
Back.
What's your favorite Joaquin Phoenix film that he was in?
I don't know.
I loved him in if you've never seen it, it's You Were Never Really There.
Oh, that was really good.
You saw it?
Yeah.
That sounds familiar.
It's like
had-
an action movie, but it's like action with Joaquin Phoenix acting.
It's great. Basically, he's hired by some state official. His daughter gets sold into like human trafficking, and he's going to save her. And it's an amazing, amazing film. And it was one of the first films because I'd always grown up.
When did it come out?
2017.
Yeah, 17 or 18.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking recent.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
It's probably my favorite movie I've ever seen him in. I have a friend who took us to go see it, and that was when I really started paying attention. Because before I had heard the name, but I couldn't really put him with anything.
Really?
Like
Oh.
I knew he was in
Phoenix?
Her. I never
I really
specifically watched this
remember when he did the rap thing.
Yeah,
He
me
did
too.
He was like
Fake rap.
Yeah, everybody said he was doing like he's like Andy Kaufman, he's tricking everybody. But if you're all talking about that he's tricking everyone, so he's kind of not.
Yeah.
You know
But he
what I'm
really
talking about?
wasn't, because at the end, I think he kind of was in a way, but at the end of the day, what he was really doing was making a film, and part of making that film was creating that kind of like reality out there to a certain degree.
Yeah.
And I think the film product, I remember sitting there watching the movie, and I was like, well, it doesn't matter if it's real or not, because this is a good movie, and Joaquin Phoenix is a great fucking actor right now. He's doing a great job. I
I
like
need
the
to see
film,
it.
so it doesn't really matter.
Or that's like with the in promotion for the Joker, they released footage of him yelling at one of the, I believe it was a lighting director.
Oh, yeah.
really?
Yeah,
That
him.
was a joke.
Yeah, I believe that was staged as well.
Yeah.
It
That's
came out
funny.
later. That was staged.
That's funny for a couple of reasons. So first, because Christian Bale, that whole thing, that thing that got released from him. You know,
Yeah.
We're
It
done
was on, like,
professionally.
Terminator?
Yeah, Terminator Salvation. I remember when that came out
Yeah.
because I'd watched so many YouTube videos that just spoofed it. It was like, "You're a great guy. You're a great guy, but we are done professionally, man. We are done."
He said that?
Yeah.
That was the recording of him saying that was like leaked or whatever of him yelling at the lighting
I
operator,
heard
whatever
that.
the fuck.
Back then, yeah.
And he played Batman, so there's the parallel Joker Batman. And the other parallel is Jared Leto or whatever the fuck. Supposedly he played Joker in the Suicide Squad and he was known for trying to be like a method actor but being really
Oh,
He's an
Lord.
asshole.
heavy-handed
Yeah.
with it,
He-
like a piece of shit.
So
about it.
he would
Some dead rats.
send dead rats to his co-stars. He obviously was method acting. He never broke character. He would whenever he sent his assistant to go do something, he would have them address him as like Mr. J or anything
So
like
silly.
that.
Because that reason that's really silly, it really makes me think of Batman the animated series, Mr. J. You know,
I love it.
Just how, yeah.
Well, what's even funnier about that is he put in all this work and he's in the movie, I believe, not more than
Yeah.
about 9 minutes.
And it's such a terrible, horrible fucking
I
movie.
didn't see it.
I hate it.
It is not good.
I was forced to watch it.
Did you see Birds of Prey, the sequel?
I'm never
No.
ever gonna watch it.
So me and my dad, we both love Batman. He's the one that got me in on Batman when I was really young.
I
So
love Batman.
I like
our
Batman
our
too.
little tradition is anything that has Batman in it, we'll go see together. And not Birds of Prey. Sorry.
Squad.
Yeah, Suicide Squad. Another reason to hate Birds of Prey is it doesn't have Batman in it. Suicide Squad. Well, it has a little cameo.
What does he do? And who plays Batman?
It's Ben Affleck playing Batman, and he comes and arrests Deadshot, Will Smith's character.
That's
And
kinda weird.
he also
What do you
comes
think about
in.
Ben Affleck as Batman? Oh, well, are you telling me
Oh,
the rest
well,
of it?
And that was the main reason why I went and saw it, but the rest of the movie was awful. But Ben Affleck is Batman, and this is something me and my friends talk about. I was one of those people, whenever they first announced it, and I will eat crow right here live, I was one of the people that said he would be awful as Batman. The guy from
Everybody
Gone
says
Girl.
that.
And whenever I saw him as Batman, that was the only iteration of Batman I've ever been intimidated by.
Oh snap!
Oh, really?
Here's the thing about
I haven't seen
Batman, and this leads into Robert Pattinson's upcoming
Oh
Batman.
yeah.
Every time there's ever been an actor announced to be playing Batman, there has always been backlash.
Absolutely.
Every
Christian
time.
Bale?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe,
Cool, well,
maybe not.
There was backlash, but mainly because the movie he did before that, The Machinist, he was so
skinny as
skinny.
shit.
Yeah, that was a badass thing for him to
Yeah.
fucking do. Fucking turn around like that.
And I will 100% admit I was wrong about Ben Affleck. And whenever they announced Robert Pattinson, I was optimistic because I
So,
knew
yeah,
I'm interested.
That was the
in
first.
that.
My first thought was like, what? And then I was like, well, we've been through this so many times.
Yeah.
It's like
He's
Now
been
I
doing
will
a lot
wait
of
and
fucking
see.
artsy movies the past like 5-6 years.
I watched Good Time recently at.
I want to
friend
see
of mine's-
that. I haven't watched
It
yet.
is fantastic.
It's
And
by the guys who did the Adam Sandler movie that just came out, the Diamond one.
Mhm. And it is fantastic. It is
Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems, yeah.
it is so great. I like
Uncut Gems I like, but I don't know. I don't know what I felt was missing, but I know the whole time I felt stressed the fuck out.
Yeah.
and I've
Keep talking about Uncut Gems.
and I've watched video essays that will like deconstruct how you build suspense for like the length of that entire movie, which is
Yeah.
what that was.
Well, part of it for sure was that fucking music the whole time.
Oh yeah.
There's so much noise and sound going on the whole time. Like, God damn it, just stop for a fucking
I found
second.
myself not. Of course, I paid attention to the dialogue just because
Yeah.
you want to know what's going on. But I feel like there's much to be said about the score of a film and how the score itself can tell its own story.
Yeah.
Bringing it back to Batman, The Dark Knight, which is the second movie Christian Bale was in with Heath Ledger's.
Yeah.
I've watched videos about how the musical score for it tells you the story of the film as it's going on. It gives you all the important
yeah?
beats. Because
That's
like
cool.
the Joker has his own score.
What'd you say? Oh. Yeah, they said music was annoying in it. Yeah. I felt like, I mean, maybe it was annoying, but I felt like it was taking me over so much that I couldn't even think about that. I just felt like, come on, there's got to be a break somewhere, right? And it was, I think it took like 40 or 50 minutes because I like got to the point I was like checking like, oh, how much longer? And like 40 or 50 minutes in, finally there was this like little lull, but it was just for like 4 minutes.
Yeah.
And then back, boom, 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 boom.
And back to music can be annoying because back to You Were Never Really Here. I don't know if it was just the theater I saw it in, but every little gunshot, every little clank of metal was so loud,
Oh.
and it made you. From my experience, it made me as irritable as Joaquin Phoenix's character was in that situation.
Oh.
Again, it could just be me reading into it. It could have just been the theater I saw it in.
Yeah. I did like Adam Sandler's teeth. What is that? You Were Never Really There? Here?
I think it was You Were Never Really
You Were
Here.
Never Really
Did you
Here.
see it in a bad part of town?
What?
You Were Never Really Here?
Mhm.
Oh.
I saw it,
Gunshots and shit outside.
I saw it up in Birmingham in this like more artsy theater.
Dude, you know what I like about Birmingham?
Yeah.
West Birmingham. You've been there?
Yeah.
Like it's like every other building is just boarded up.
Yeah.
It's really
I saw
fun.
a synagogue boarded up, just not in Houston, West Birmingham.
Really? It's crazy.
And that's like if you really go to
It's
the
interesting looking.
if you go to the artsy part of Birmingham, every single restaurant, store, everything has a ampersand
Ampersand.
sign. It's always
Ampersand?
like something and something. That
Okay.
ampersand for the and.
Yeah, I know what you're
They want to be fancier, so they use that.
There's
Where did
a
that stupid name come from? Ampersand.
it's probably French. Sand means without, right?
No, SAND is what it is.
Oh, well,
Ampersand.
there's a space theme bar in Birmingham. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I haven't been
Outer
there.
space theme.
Oh,
What?
actually, I have heard of it. I've never been there.
It's cool. You can play like N64 and shit. They have
What?
they have like a Tang drink. You know,
Oh,
Tang because
yeah.
the astronauts drink Tang.
Tang, like a Tang drink, an actual drink made with Tang.
Yeah, it's like one of those slushy things that swirls all the time.
Oh.
It's like constantly swirling. It's frozen.
Oh man.
Let's go to Birmingham. You want to?
Let's do it.
Let's go right now.
Y'all can stay. Y'all can stay at my house. I'll tell my dad we have some guests.
Yeah, I thought. Oh, you said I wasn't allowed. No.
Oh, that's right. Me and Josh can go. Me and Josh and the monkey. The monkey's name is Andrew now.
Hey, we're the monkeys. I never saw that show. Did you see that show before? The Monkeys?
I think I saw it maybe once when I was a kid.
People say we party around or monkey around.
I didn't watch a lot of TV Land. A lot of other people did.
I watch TV Land constantly.
Yeah, you knew Andy Griffith's show, and I got into it just a few years ago.
All those like old Norman Lear shows. Loved all those shows. Did you watch that one yet? The Louis one. What's the name of that show? Louis C.K.
Wasn't it just called Louis?
No, he has another
Yes,
show.
yeah.
Oh, he does.
It's more like a sitcom.
Oh,
I love
thought,
Louis.
No,
I thought we hated Louis.
The other
I thought
one.
everyone
No, I
didn't
didn't
like
watch
him.
I love.
No, I
Louis.
think everybody likes him again.
I love Louis.
Have you seen his new special?
Never did all that.
I've only seen his older stuff.
I still love.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
His new special is good. He looks really tired though.
It was
Worn
tired.
out.
It's probably.
Wait, are we getting comments this whole time? We can't see them.
I've been talking back. It's been
Okay.
early.
I don't have my
You're
readers
talking
on.
about
I've just been hoping you guys would see it.
Yeah, the new Louis C.K. special is. I liked it. He talks about the whole controversy and stuff. You know.
He
Now-
does talk about it. Shit.
Was it he was just masturbating in front of women?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Go into that. Let's talk about Louis C.K.
Yeah, so because I only heard like bits and pieces of it, so just explain to me. What,
So he would ask women, "You mind if I jerk off in front of you?" And if they said yes, he would do it.
oh,
So basically, that's the gist of it.
Jizz of it.
Yeah, they basically that's the gist of it. Some people said like, oh well, you know, they really couldn't say no because they were up and coming comics, and if they were to say no, then that might have hurt their career. So
Which is fucking retarded.
I don't know.
part of me could see that just because Pete Davidson from Saturday Night Live did a special, and he was talking about his interaction with Louis C.K. And Louis C.K. had apparently complained on him for being high at work.
Where's the connection between him jerking off and the complaining about? being
I was
high?
more making a connection between like people feeling more pressure to do what he wants because he's an established comic and
Okay.
they're up and coming.
Oh, so his complaint had like some validity to it, or his complaint meant you had to like react to it.
Yeah, not really the masturbating part, but just more of like
He was like,
feeling
this
pressure.
guy's fucking high at work. What is he doing?
But then part of me is also just like you can always say like, because I thought he was doing it not with permission, not with consent. I thought he was just doing it, doing
Who
it.
knows? And there's a lot of Louis C.K. was flexing.
Was what?
Flexing. By saying this person's high at work. He's flexing on
Yeah.
Pete Davidson.
Like showing that he's above him.
Oh.
We got an older guy in the
How do
house.
you
We have to
know
explain the
what-
lingo.
It's not. He's always been like.
There is no TV in this house.
We have a guy who may be disabled in some way.
Ooh.
This is called TV for the smart tard. There's the tarded.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, most people get it.
Yeah, because my interpretation of that, because I never done my own research on it. I just thought he was doing it at the behest of himself, not really.
Why would he be flexing on?
Just to show, like I'm still the man over here.
That's like, whenever you haze
what
like the
show?
rookies at work.
Saturday Night Live.
Pete Dave, yeah, it was when Louis C.K. hosted Saturday Night Live one year, and Pete Davidson, who just came out with a comedy special on Netflix, brought that up, and he said that Louis C.K. complained on him to their upper management about him either smoking
Oh,
weed
he
at
went
work or
and
getting
like
high at work.
privately did that shit. One could make the argument that people were intimidated.
You mean, so like basically when he was jerking off, you could say like, oh, maybe they were intimidated, and they couldn't say no.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of like nuance to it. You know, you have to like it, like
Yeah, it could be they said yes, but then they decided they didn't want to, but they felt pressured not to change their mind.
and this is all stuff that you could watch a scene happen. Say you like, let's say you have a script and you're gonna shoot the scene,
Mhm.
and it's a rape scene, but that could be a good. That's a director. Like I'm an exercise for a director. I'm gonna give you a script. I want this to be a rape scene, but I'm going to write a consensual scene, and you have to direct the scene as a rape scene.
Mhm.
See what I'm saying? Like it could be all between the
Yeah, the writer says it's consensual, but then the director,
there's so much
there's a way you can play it.
there's so much nuance to the way that things happen that it's hard to report on something that somebody did
Yeah,
and say,
because you
oh,
only
yeah.
have their two accounts of it.
Right.
But I think part of it too is that like, so maybe they did feel like, maybe they're like, oh, I feel pressure because he's a big comic. I got to just do what he says. But then that's a conversation we need to have, like that I don't know, you don't have to do that kind of shit.
Yeah,
How do you make sure that people don't feel like they have to do that just to get somewhere? You know,
because you
We got
got
a
to think
question.
who was there to pressure
But that-
him.
yeah, but that doesn't mean like, I mean, I guess what I'm saying is that doesn't mean that he knew that's why they were doing it.
Did anyone ask how his face looked when he was jerking off? And then you have LOL if his face was all demons and demonic, and then woman regretted it.
Yeah, that's so.
Demonic.
Maybe just his jerk off face is just very an aggressive looking face.
His O face.
His O face was just oh, and you just
Like the face he makes on stage.
yeah.
As
Just that
opposed to
disappointed.
Maybe if
just-
he had just looked sexier while he was doing it, they would have been okay with
he
it.
should just bitten that
Like,
bottom lip.
Maybe when they saw how ugly he looked whenever he was jerking off, they're like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I did this! Oh, he's rating me now with that ugly face."
Well, he's told
Whereas
this.
if it was like
Maybe a
sexy.
courtesy wink every once in a while just to let them know.
He's told the story before of the first time he ever had sex, or the first time he ever had a sexual experience, was this girl back in like middle school or something was jerking him off, and then he started coming, and as he was coming, he started farting, and then she started just laughing at him.
Oh,
man.
no.
And so I'm thinking that probably has something to do with him seeking out embarrassment,
Yeah.
recreating trauma.
Yeah, because his first sexual experience was him being embarrassed. So maybe
While
that's-
jerking off, yeah, or being jerked off.
So
Yeah.
That's rough. That is
Oh,
rough.
man.
There's
go
one
ahead.
thing. No, I had one time that I did fart whenever I can.
Okay. All right.
I just want to let it
The
out
world.
there.
Thank you.
I'm glad
I was
that-
holding it in throughout the whole time.
As a gentleman,
Yeah, I was trying to hold it in, and then right whenever I was coming, just one
Everything.
little, like just a little,
As a gentleman.
and then I just looked down at her. At least did she know? And she was looking right at me, and it was obvious.
she knew.
And we laughed, but it was it's definitely embarrassing.
But when in your life,
But she wasn't laughing at me. Was a difference.
Like,
It was-
were you
it was
already-
okay between us at the end?
were you already an adult by then?
I was I was 21.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about this. So have you seen the videos of that Chinese guy going around challenging like old Chinese kung fu masters?
No.
So China's different supposedly from what we hear. We hear China's evil. I believe it. I don't think it's propaganda. There's a chance it's propaganda because I hear so much shit about China and how evil it is and everything. So maybe it's propaganda, and that's what I'm being fed. But my main thing I believe is the thing that I hear. So with a grain of salt. So China's evil. And they're way behind on the times. They still think kung fu is real and shit. And you can like you know, like those old kung fu movies, like the Seven Chambers in Shaolin and stuff, and all that shit. So they still think that like you can do like no touch knockouts and stuff over there because UFC came over here and that just pretty much made everybody realize that like fake martial arts aren't real, right? You know, and realize like what is real, like in terms of martial arts.
What you practice in class in practice is a lot different than when you're in that moment. Because a lot of people have that mentality of this is what I would do if I was in this situation, but really you don't know.
It's really it's fantasy based martial arts. Really, it's like if you do this, I'll do that.
You practice so you can get the muscle memory, but in actuality, it's like the old saying: everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face.
Right. I think Mike Tyson said that, right?
Yeah.
And I think so. And so and back in the early days of the UFC, Kung Fu would always lose. Always, because it just turns out not to be that good of a fighting style. But in China, they still don't admit that. They're way behind on the times. They're 25 years in the past. But there's this one Chinese mixed martial artist who's going around challenging Kung Fu members. And you can see videos of him. Like there's this, like one of the first videos I saw was like the first was this old Chinese like Kung Fu master, like using like these energy waves to like throw his students around and stuff and manipulate them. And then the challenge match starts. You seen that?
Yeah, I think it was on Rogan.
There was actually a wave going around of like exposing fake martial arts. Yeah, it may still be going on.
I think it is because it's this one guy in China who's very like active in this whole thing. And in the video, this guy just beats him up, just like nothing. And he even looks kind of surprised. Like he shows concern for this guy. Now, what's interesting about that is very recently, with in the past couple of weeks, China's come out with some new laws where you're no longer allowed to call yourself a master of Kung Fu, and you're no longer allowed to say that you're the leader of a certain style of Kung Fu. And it's somehow it's about them trying to. I think it's because this guy keeps on beating masters, and they want to be like, oh well, okay, we want to get rid of that, so he's no longer beating masters.
Why don't they just kill him?
Yeah, that's pretty simple. Why didn't they do that?
And also, master's such a superficial title. One of my favorite martial artists, Michael J. White. He's been in a lot of.
I like him. You've seen Black Dynamite?
Yes.
Black Dynamite. Watch that.
I love that. Blood and Bone.
That's one of those movies. Black Dynamite. It's just as cool of an action movie as it is funny. So it's a comedy action movie.
He is fantastic. And he has like 7 different black belts. And he is a master, but. He came out with a video where he said,
what he thinks of that.
But he says that he doesn't like it when people refer to him as master because he says master implies that you have nothing left to learn. Master implies that there's no improvements you can make. And his philosophy is, well, there's always improvements. There's always way of fine tuning your technique.
Well, I've heard, so this is what I heard about people calling martial artists master. That master is a European or a Western concept. They never said master in Asia. And it all came from these European people going over to China and seeing people like break breaks and stuff. Be like, yeah, they're a master of their art. Just writing articles and stuff about these people. Like
master artists, like like when they reference the old Renaissance masters, Leonardo da Vinci.
Like Louis C.K., he's a masturbator.
Just when we were past that.
So we get a time travel thing.
That's what's called a time traveling callback.
Have you heard any? Oh wait, no. Before I talk about Michael J. White more, I want to say the thing I really wanted to get to about the guy that's going around challenging all the martial arts masters. So I heard, because he's been doing this comes back to why did they kill him? Though they did do something. They reduced his social credit score. You heard about the social credit score system in China? So everybody has a social credit score. It's like Black Mirror. It's like, have you seen the episode of Black Mirror?
I was just thinking about that.
It's kind of like the episode of Black Mirror with Ron Howard's daughter. Or was that who that is?
I don't know. I didn't see that episode.
Where like your social status is defined by how many likes you get, how many good interactions you have. So people put on that fake persona.
Yeah, but the Chinese system, supposedly, if you might have heard, it might be propaganda, I don't know, supposedly comes from the government. They give you a social credit score. So supposedly this guy who's going around challenging different martial artists, his credit score has fallen so low that he can no longer apply to certain jobs or ride high-speed trains anymore.
High speed. How does that transfer over?
For you, buddy.
He's got to ride the slow
You
train.
beat up all these old.
there.
Oh, it's because older people travel in China tend to travel by high-speed trains. They don't want him picking fights with all of them.
Yeah, maybe
You beat up all of our old people. You cannot be within 100 feet of them, please.
they might be worried about him getting on and whipping some old train riders' asses. I think it's just like there's a social credit system in China where like, oh, high-speed train, that's real valuable. You got a higher social score to ride that shit.
And which we criticize that, but also I feel because theirs is more, if it's true, it's an official social credit system. But I also feel like, especially here, we have a sort of unofficial credit system. Like people abuse social media.
Now I hope like here's the fear, like so much crazy shit's going on, so many people talking about revolution and stuff, that hopefully the social system that we have in place right now, that I think is really being driven by social media and like outrage culture and all this shit, and maybe hopefully that doesn't become government.
Yeah. You brought up Black Mirror, another sort of anthology series that has come out recently. Have you ever watched, I believe it's Love, Sex, and Robots?
No.
It's a Netflix sort of Black Mirror-esque anthology series where different people create these episodes, and
It's all animated, right?
Right. Have you heard of it?
I've heard it, yeah.
It's fantastic.
Is there an episode that looks kind of like Beavis and Butthead?
Yes. Yes,
that's
there
the
is.
one I want to see. I couldn't find. I was looking for that episode, but I couldn't find it.
My favorite episode, it's either episode 7 or 8. It's called the Akela Rift, and it's based on a short novel where it's years in the future. We've developed hyperspace travel, and these people are on a ship and they're making a cargo transport, and they go through a hyperspace, but it messes up and they get put into like this weird place, and it's like a dead shipyard, and the whole episode goes, and this guy thinks, everything's fine. And later in the episode, he finds out, well, actually he's still in cryo sleep. And the area he landed in is the home of like this alien spider, but it's a benevolent being. And basically once you're in that domain, you're so far in terms of light years away from your destination that thousands of years have passed. All of your relatives are gone. So to help the people cope with that, the spider is able to sort of use like telekinesis, or not telepathy to put them in a dreamlike state to where they're able to live out the rest of their lives and eventually pass on. But he wakes up and is so traumatized by it. It was a great episode.
I gotta make a quick announcement. This right here is beer we got for the podcast.
For the podcast.
Specifically.
Tasty 21st Amendment Brewery, Tasty IPA. And this motherfucking thing, this is the fifth one's been open. How many did you have?
I just had the one.
You said, okay, well, I don't know. Either way, I think this is the 4th or 5th one to be opened. And every single one of them. Did yours all spur?
Yeah, everyone.
Every single one of these fucking things overflows. So Tasty fucking IPA, go the fuck back to work and figure out how you make this shit not explode on you when you open it.
This little 10-pound dog
I've had to clean up my goddamn floor. Yeah,
because it's licking it off the floors. And another quick announcement. This right here is Blue Moon. Very good Belgian white. This is not spewed at all. This is the second one that's been open. No problems
Did
at
both
all.
those travel in the same car?
Yes, they did.
Okay, well.
Yeah.
I think they just, before they gave it to you, they said, hold on, let me check this just to make sure all the beer's in here. We don't want to shortchange you, buddy. And then they gave it to you.
It was a self-checkout.
You did it to
But
yourself.
I did do that. Okay.
You went back in time, created a new timeline where he did shake up all that beer.
But it's been here forever. It's been here long enough to not be fucking fizzing up.
That poor dog is running in circles.
These stupid
I'll
assholes.
have to ask a beer
What the
can
hell do you
expert
do?
about that.
Yeah, what the hell do you do to a beer to fuck it up like
Is
that?
that?
Oh,
Ben
we know a beer can expert, maybe the canning dude.
Yeah,
Trent.
that's who I was referring to. Yeah, Trent Lutzak.
Lidzak. We can ask him about this shit.
Yeah.
Ask him, hey, you can this shit, asshole?
Tune
Unless
into the next episode of Television for the Smart-Hearted. I don't know when.
sponsored by Tasty IPA.
Tasty. Have you heard about what Michael J. White says though?
The only controversial thing I've heard him talk about is the different body types.
Oh, what do you say about body types?
So there's this thing going around where every person has a different body type. You're either an endomorph, an ectomorph, or a mesomorph. And that just means you're the body type that tends to carry more fat than muscle. You're the body type that tends to carry more muscle, or you're the type of body type to just be skinny in general.
Yeah.
And that's been proven not to be true. And he did a video on his YouTube channel talking about that.
Oh,
and he got flagged because
really? Because I thought that was pretty much like one of those things where it was like kind of like, yeah, we don't really go by that, but you know, it's kind of like BMI. Like we don't really go by BMI anymore.
Yeah.
But it's kind of still a guideline.
Yeah, and like, yeah, you can be a person who is a quote unquote hard gainer, where it's harder for you to gain muscle, or it's harder for you to lose weight. But there's no like, you're not predispositioned to one body type or another. It's all about calories in, calories out, your life choices. It's kind of been deep. A lot of people still subscribe to that idea, but it is very much not really based on much concrete evidence that I've seen.
This is not like the endomorph like kind of shit, right?
It is.
That's what we were talking about.
Oh, that's it.
I think me and you talked about it.
Like body types, like tall, skinny, short.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like no, it's just the propensity to put on weight is a endomorph, and the propensity to put on you can't gain weight is an ectomorph, and then the propensity to put on muscle.
Oh, so that's just bullshit. Is what they're saying.
There are some people who are like, you know, like if you're a skinnier guy, you have a smaller frame, it's harder to put on muscle, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're this body type, because to say that you're a certain body type means you can't change.
Yeah.
So what I heard him say was a little bit more controversial. It was something along the lines of like the people of African descent are like the true like people who created like kung fu or something like that. Yeah, I don't know exactly what it was, but it was something along those lines. It was kind of like, it reminded me of people who say that Native American people are the black people in America are actually the native people. Have you heard that before?
No.
I've heard that a few times.
Black people in America are the native people?
Yeah, black people in America were here before anyone got here. And those are actually the native people of America. Native Americans are really black people. And so
Native Americans are really black people?
Yeah.
Or black people are the actual Native Americans?
Yeah.
Okay. Not like you see a Native American's like, hey, do you know you're black?
No.
Okay.
No. If you see somebody who looks black, it's like, oh, that person is native to this country. So
they're denying.
They don't think they're from
transportation of slavery, like transportation of slaves from Africa.
Are they saying that they were already here? Or are they saying that they were brought here first?
I don't know. We have to interview one of them. A person who thinks that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's weird. It's like I see it like every once in a while, just on social media or something. It'll be like black people are the true native people, and it'll show like maybe like a darker skinned native person.
Well, now because Native Americans can have fairly dark skin. Mm-hmm. Maybe they saw an old timey photo, and because color wasn't really a big thing.
I think that could have been one. But one of the things is that the people who are saying that thing is they're like, well, we are due our land.
Wait, so okay, but what about Michael J. White? And he thinks
he said something about like the I don't know, I have to look it up, but something about martial arts really came from Africa or something like that, and like kung fu. It reminded me of that type of thing, like kind of a revisionist type of thing.
Yeah,
because which isn't necessary. Like you can still like draw from other cultures and stuff, and
and a lot of martial arts draw from different cultures.
What I've heard is like a lot of it came from India, like India was the place where wrestling first started out, and the first person who brought kung fu to China was this Indian monk who came over there to try to teach this one family this technique for meditating, and then that turned into kung fu.
And also the thing about that is a lot of times these stories are coming from time periods where they didn't really keep a record of anything. So you could have Indian people coming up with their form of martial arts, their form of meditation, their form, but it could be coincidentally at the same time in this other country.
At the end of the day, though, no matter what, even if you're trying to discover the origin of something, when you're trying to discover the origin of that shit, it's not to say, well, that's ours. Like, if you're doing that shit, like, fuck you. That's not what it's about. It's not about discovering what's yours and somebody else's.
That's how you improve, is by sharing experience, sharing different ways of life.
It's like, what's the goal? If whoever gets to it and claims it, like, why does it matter who claims who started it?
I mean, you can look up exactly what he said. I guess I should have done more research on before I brought it up, but it kind of reminds me of people saying like Jesus was black. Like, okay, you can have black Jesus, you can have whatever color Jesus. Like Andrew Schultz came out with a video saying like every culture has had their own symbol of Jesus, and it tends to look like
them,
So saying,
because that helps spread the religion around too. If you believe that,
I think the reason that we mostly see a white Jesus is because most of our depictions of Jesus are from the Renaissance era, which comes out of Italy. And so the depiction of Jesus is based on somebody who drew a painting and used the model from around them.
To quote a comedian I was telling you guys about, Daniel Sloss, he has this one bit where he's talking about Christianity, and one thing he says is, if Jesus was white, he would have been based on where people believe he was born, he would have been the only white person for 400 miles, and that would have been the real miracle. That's what he said. And I consider myself, a faithful person, but then when you think about it, some things just make more sense. Like, it makes more sense that, he may not have been Aryan style white, English white, just based on where we believe he was born.
Well, I mean, also, like, you're talking about Andrew Schultz talking about all the different cultures that have different depictions of Jesus. Mm-hmm. One thing there that it helps you believe in it more because it looks like you, but at the same time, the story of Jesus, a big part of the story of Jesus is that there's like that divinity within each and every person. Mm-hmm. So you are Jesus. Jesus is a part of you. There is that thing. So having it look like you is really important to spread the religion.
Or that's like the theory, like God isn't just one color. God is every color. There's a belief like there are people who've had near-death experiences where they say that they've seen God, and when they ask them, well, what color was his skin? They just say every color. Like, there's no way to express that.
Maybe it's like you have extra senses. It's like if you have a near-death experience, you might experience some type of consciousness that you can't imagine. So it's like experiencing multiple consciousnesses at once.
Mm-hmm. Like tripping out. Like, you fucking trip on ashrooms. Acid or mushrooms. Like, ashrooms. You just like,
and then you jerk off while staring at people.
No, like there's experiences that you have there that you can't fully describe because it's not just in the description. It's like whenever people try to recreate that shit in films and stuff, like, ooh, here's a trippy scene. It always comes across as corny to people that know it, and the people that don't know it, it doesn't help them understand it because it just doesn't translate.
All you've done is make it more complicated.
Well, no, you just made something that just doesn't connect because you can't connect because it's not the thing. It's not acid or shrooms that it's not a hallucinogenic that gets you to because the space is not just visual. It's beyond that. It's visual and it's like mental and it's like how you feel.
It's like
all like coalesces together.
Perspective thing more, right? It's like everything's from a different.
Yeah, but you can kind of get perspective in a way in a film. Like there's the one that I think the closest I've ever seen is Midsummer.
That was
really
movie.
They did a damn good job because like they had the visuals, but more important than that is that they were able to get some of the feelings across
whenever they were
in the movie.
Whenever they were
when they're tripping on the hill, whenever they first get there,
and
she freaks out at the mirror, which is a classic like thing, the mirror thing. But something about the way she freaked out at the mirror.
What I noticed whenever she's wearing that headdress, the flowers kind of pulsate.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. That's another thing that's been hard with the visuals is that it's hard to really describe, but they got really close. The pulsation is more of that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, it's not just about the visuals, but the visuals do aid in the experience.
this is off topic, but since you brought up Midsummer, one thing that me and my friends have always debated about, like with horror films, stuff that makes you either unsettled or scared, like what's the best form of horror? Because you have a lot of movies now that focus just on jump scares.
Yeah.
But a lot of my friends, we love the movies that just make you feel like fucked up. Like
I guess The Shining, is one of those great examples that lasts throughout time. It's because it's deeper than. I mean, there's probably a jump or two in there, but it's more about like this feeling you got inside of you watching the character.
Or that's like the movie Hereditary came out a couple years back.
Yeah. Same guy, Ari Aster.
Yep, I love that movie. There are a few jump scares, just to be completely fair, but the most harrowing. There are 3 scenes really that really made me feel like that true fear feeling. The first one is, all 3 of them are towards the end of the movie. There's one where she's chasing her son through the house. He hides up in the attic, and it's a scene of her banging her head on the attic.
What's the movie called?
I don't remember.
Hereditary. Fantastic movie. There's the scene where she is cutting off her own head with piano wire. Just because how slow it starts out and just that imagery. And then the scene where after that, when she floats up into the
treehouse. Yeah.
So I hate jump scares. I think they're fucking stupid as shit.
Yes,
Now,
absolutely.
I was watching the movie The Blair Witch Project with somebody that I used to hang out with who is mentally retarded. And it was the last scene of the movie where the guy's standing against the wall. And it's like zooming in on the guy and stuff, and it's so fucking freaky. And he's just like, you don't know why he's just standing against the wall. And the guy that I was with, he was like, he's gonna turn around, he's gonna have a demon face. And it was like, what? He's gonna turn around and have a demon face? That would be so stupid. This is such a perfect scene.
Yeah, it's because you don't know.
It's so creepy for him to like turn around and
But that's like good old H.P. Lovecraft saying, like, the oldest human emotion is fear, and what people fear most is what they don't understand or what they can't see.
I've always heard like stuff described as Lovecraftian. I've never understood what it actually was.
It's basically like,
I never read it.
The
Lovecraft
mythos
is an author.
Yeah.
A horror author. Basically,
he was a
Cthulhu.
he was an incredibly fucked up individual.
I rode past his house when I was in Rhode Island.
Oh,
So I rode past his house in H.P. Lovecraft. When I was in Rhode Island. So what was his deal?
He wrote as a person, he was a very backwards person. He had backwards philosophies as of today's time. So I'm not talking about him as a person.
We can separate him from the work, just like we can from CK.
His work based on, not jerking off in front of people and scaring them. But his was more cosmic. No, he was like from the 20s, so it would be that, but in silent film style, and then there would be a text box that says "Woo!" But he wrote cosmic horror. It was based on the belief that humans, because we're the apex of our planet, we're the most intelligent.
That we know of.
Yeah, we like ants to us are nothing. Like there could be an ant right here, we wouldn't even notice.
Yeah,
and so his thing was.
I'm an uncle.
Get out of here. Talk out. You're in timeout. 2 minutes. You're not allowed. But his thing was cosmic horror, where it's like there's these extraterrestrial beings that aren't even aware of our existence because we're so minute to them. And the horror of that is feeling like you're not at the top of the food chain.
Shit.
There even one of his creatures, I forget the name. It's all weird names like Cthulhu.
I've heard of that one.
That's the famous one. There's one that is like,
oh, we're running out of time.
And have you heard of the paradox about
Lovecraft or time?
No, wait.
We're running out of time. Wait a second. Why don't we just jump back and add more time?
Okay, how much? Oh yeah, we should go back in time. Let's just do like 10 more minutes though, okay?
Okay, go back in time.
Catch you again in 10 minutes.
We're going back in time.
Going
in
back in
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Share to IGTV. Oh, we got to keep talking to this one. You talk to that camera for a second. Talk to them about Lovecraft.
all right. So Lovecraft, one of his creatures is, the whole premise of it is this creature is in a deep slumber, and everything that you experience is the result of that creature's dreams. Nothing you experience is real because you just exist in this creature's dream world, and there are other creatures around it constantly lulling it to sleep, because once it wakes up, all of existence ends because we're just a figment of its dreams. And a lot of my friends, we would talk about how that's at its essence like the best form of horror, because a lot of Lovecraft's creatures are based on the fact of once you visually witness them, you just go insane because your mind can't comprehend what it is. And that's just the type of horror that me and my friends, we gravitate more towards, as opposed to jump scares where you can kind of guess what's happening next. You know, the music goes out, there's a long silence, and then it's just a big giant jump scare. You almost got it situated?
Almost. Trying to figure out how to.
Are you talking to the YouTube while you try to get the
Yeah. I'm trying
time.
to get. I don't know how to get to your thing over here. How to get back to the video
fucking
thing.
retard. All right.
I was trying to. I was doing that.
Hey, he's a smart target.
All right, we're live again.
We're back.
Fucking oppressive Instagram doesn't want to give people like us more than an hour long.
Yeah, where
Yeah,
are we? Your stupid IG live monkeys?
That's oppression. That's definitely like
actual
1
oppression.
hour. What is 1 hour? 1 hour is what people that don't like us.
We just went back in
impose
time
on us.
10 minutes.
Don't you realize that life is longer than an hour?
It's like they don't even care.
Yeah.
Wow. That is just the worst.
Now we're just sitting really close to each other for no reason.
Well, saving space.
The reason is always love. Even if I'm here, the reason's love, and if I'm gone, the reason is also love.
I sleep in the same room as these guys. We just have this one. It's not even a full king size bed. It's just 2 queen sizes put together, and we just all hop in it.
Yeah, we all sit on the right queen size bed.
Yes.
The other one we leave open in case anybody wants to join.
We draw cards for who gets to be the middle part of the Oreo.
We leave it open for the aliens.
Yes.
In case they want to know. So you're talking about H.P. Lovecraft and how the aliens, the idea that the fear is that they're so much bigger and like
action.
more fucking significant than us, and they don't even notice us.
Yeah.
And okay, this is the thing I was thinking about that I couldn't remember the name of. The Fermi Paradox. Have you heard of the Fermi Paradox?
No.
Nope.
So the Fermi Paradox is that, so basically authors and scientists and theoretical motherfuckers and all this shit have thought about aliens and civilizations and stuff so long. There's different types of civilization. Like there's a type 1 civilization. Type 1 civilization uses all the energy in the whole planet. They can harness the energy of their whole planet. Type 2 civilization can harness the whole energy in all of their solar system. Type 3 civilization harnesses all the energy in their whole galaxy. We're a type 0 civilization. We're not even on the map in those terms. So they've done the math, and is much like they figured out the Big Bang. If the universe is expanding, then that means we must be able to trace it back to a single point. So if we're going this way, it means that other civilizations must be going in the same way. So there must be a conclusion. And the conclusion is that there's going to be type 3 civilizations that harness the power of the whole galaxy. And if there's civilizations that harness the power of their whole galaxy, that means they must be building huge structures around their stars. And if they build the structures around their stars, then they would black out the stars. And if there were stars that were blacked out in the sky, then we would be able to see them. And based on how many stars in the galaxy that we can see and the possibility of life existing, we should, in theory, be able to see some blacked out stars in the sky, but we can't. So why can't we? That's called the Fermi Paradox.
Oh, well, maybe. Well, one of the reasons could be that we are the most advanced so far.
That's one
Just
of
because we can conceive of it doesn't mean it's real.
There's a lot of hypotheses about why this is a paradox, explaining it. There's this one YouTube channel called fuck, Arthur
Hey, Souls Below.
Isaac or something. Isaac.
Oh yeah, Isaac Asimov, that guy.
It's a play on two different authors. Something Asimov and Arthur C. Clarke or something.
That
Arthur
sounds like a Cthulhu alien name.
Arthur Asimov.
Yeah. And he does all these videos on different explanations for why we haven't seen life. And one of the reasons I think might be because maybe life doesn't even so significant that they don't even see us because we're so insignificant. We're like an ant.
I'm an uncle.
paradoxes. You're in timeout again. 2 minutes.
We did have a question. So,
Yes.
Action Podcast said, "What are you guys all about?"
Hate and destruction.
Hate, destruction, discrimination. No.
I'm all about Blue Moon Belgian White. Right here. Has not fizzed up once.
We're about not making any kind of preconceived fucking bullshit, right?
We're about 6 inches too short of being cool, tall guys.
We're about finding the truth and the real truth and not even knowing what the truth is and not even giving a shit and not trying to find the truth.
We're about to wrap up this podcast.
All right.
Howdy, everyone. What's everyone drinking? Oh, he just said Blue Moon. We're drinking a tasty IPA.
Go ahead and go on
And
your
this
spiel.
motherfucker, going back on the rant again, every single one of these beers that we have opened has fucking foamed over and spilled all over my kitchen floor. Every single one of them. So, owners of Tasty IPA, 21st Amendment Brewery, go back to fucking work, fix your goddamn cans.
Have you
or fuck
ever
off and stay out of my
considered?
kitchen.
You ever considered that maybe the beer and your kitchen floor are just in love with each other and they're doing whatever they can to be together?
This is not an all-accepting love household.
This is not a beer floor love.
This
accepting
household is about hatred, pain, and agony, torment, and despise.
Blue Moon has
Souls
never
Below
fizzed
says, "I know the pain, bro. Good.
up.
Stay away from Tasty IPA. It's tasty, but
Well, we do this podcast about every week.
spit that truth, man."
Ding! We have a spittoon. Spit this truth, man. Come on. It's the spittoon of truth.
Ew, it's stupid. Oh man.
This could be the spittoon of truth. Spit the truth.
Yeah.
All right.
Every time you're
If you
in
don't
timeout.
spit the truth, you gotta drink the juice.
Oh. That's like that.
That's some bullshit, man. Drink the juice. Drink the juice.
It's like
What is
that
that? What is
soggy biscuit hazing ritual.
What is that? Drink the juice.
You would just have to drink the spit that's in this
Oh,
It just builds up.
It's just disgusting.
Swill.
You
No,
just
that's
have
not
to.
swill.
You'd have to take down in one gulp the juice of truth.
Well, the only thing we didn't get to that I wanted to talk to you about tonight was Kanye, but we'll get to that
Kanye?
next time, or maybe we won't ever talk about it ever. Find out next time. You have any closing words you want to say?
Kanye or Con Boo?
He took my
Kanye.
thing.
Is that what you were gonna say?
I was gonna say Kanye or Kanye. Kanye.
Oh, Kanye or Kanye?
You have anything you want to close us out on?
That's my closing remark.
Where can they find you?
Yeah, where can they find you,
Uh,
Bailey Brown?
They can find me wherever I plan on be strolling around.
He just lives in Rainbow City, Alabama.
You can find me at Instagram, Bailey Brown, Bailey_Brown with 5 Ys. Because 4 Ys was taken, 3 Ys was taken, 2 Ys was
So
taken.
many playing a
What about
while.
6 was? Why didn't you go for
That
it?
is a really
Yeah.
common name out of that.
Bailey?
Bailey Brown.
Bailey
Really? That's a
underscore.
common name is this?
Andrew's name is Honky Brown.
You can find me and him working at a good old gunfight show.
Yeah.
Not gunfight anymore.
It's Shenanigans Comedy Wild West show at Six Flags over Georgia.
Yep. Come down and see us.
You can find is there coupons? Is there coupon code?
There probably are coupons somewhere.
Tell them we sent you. They'll let
If
you
you
in.
go to www.google.com You can type in Six Flags over Georgia coupons, and they
Or
probably
you could buy a nice Coca-Cola Classic, and there might be. I don't think they.
Coca-Cola. Come on,
Go to Google and just type in Six Flags free ? And it'll be one of the first ones that pops up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can find us every day.
Let's play the song, the Banger Train, and go out on that.
Banger Train?
What's it called?
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. It was a question. The Banger Train?
The Banger Bus is coming.
Oh, the Banger Bus is coming. Oh, the Six Flags. This is the actual song. It was the Mr. Six.
Oh, we have to wait for this
It's the real
motherfucking
group.
ad.
Didn't he
It's a
pass
great-
away? The guy,
No, it
the
was
guy
an
who was
actor.
always dancing.
It was an actor with a mask on.
All right, guys. Come until next time. Come to Six Flags over Georgia or wherever else you may live. There's plenty of Six Flags.
You're gonna shake up your beer again.
And check out. Don't worry. For any people who are against guns and don't like guns, don't worry,
We have none.
because there's not going to be any guns. It only takes something.
Now they aren't gonna show up.
Get out of here.
You just
Get out of here.
All right. Okay. We're gonna end this before it's already gone way too close. Okay, and so it was.